June. I think they know I'm here. That's not good. Fuck.
A woman is camping alone in an old city cemetery after dark when she realizes the movement around her isn't animals. There are people out in the graves, and they've spotted her.
I just had to put out the fire because there are people walking around back here.
No lights or voices, just people moving through a pitch-black cemetery in a way that only makes sense if they don't want to be seen. She kills her fire, packs up, and runs for her car before they reach her. She made it, but these places rarely stay as empty as they look after dark, and that's the one thing all 6 of these explorers found out the hard way. The team behind the Paranormal Channel Ghost Theory head out to spend a night inside one of the most haunted cemeteries in Britain. But before they even reach the grounds, they pass an abandoned building on the way in and decide to look inside. The moment they step through the door, they realize the building is actively on fire.
Building next to it, and we've just walked in to explore, and it seems to be on fire.
Okay, yeah, you shouldn't really have gone in it, should you?
We didn't know until we.
Yeah, we'll come along then.
Yeah, we didn't know till we walked closer because the bottom was on fire, and then we then saw the smoke, so then we left immediately.
They back out and keep moving toward the real target. Brookwood Cemetery, the largest burial ground in the entire United Kingdom, with around 250,000 graves spread across dense, heavily wooded grounds. See, a lot of the people buried here weren't buried here first. When London tore up its old churchyards to build the underground, thousands of bodies were dug up and shipped out to Brookwood on a dedicated funeral train called the London Necropolis Railway, complete with first, second, and third-class carriages for the dead. They arrived by the trainload and were buried out here in the woods, and most of them were never visited again, and the place carries a reputation that goes beyond old bones. So they push as deep into the forest as they can, pitch a tent beside one of the tombs, and wait. It doesn't take long before the woods start reacting to them.
There's graves all around.
Something's
here.
looking at us from over there.
What?
Something's looking at us from over there, but don't know what it is. I've just seen an orange glow.
Seriously?
Yeah. It's moved away.
Just an animal?
I assume so. It's like there. But it was to the right of that kind of
The tree?
silverish tree, and then went to the left. Orange.
Watch where he's pointing. In the gap between the trees, there's a shape that doesn't move the way an animal does. Tall, completely still, with what he swears is a single orange eye.
Because the noises in here are unbelievably weird all of a sudden. We heard what sounded like a pack of dogs, or wolves, to be completely honest with you. And then the owls were going absolutely mental. And it was sort of in the transition period, obviously, of us going from these cameras, wherever that is.
They try to get a better look, but whatever it is stays just out of reach. And then every animal in the area seems to lose it at once, from the same direction. Not one dog. What sounds like an entire pack tearing through the darkness from somewhere inside the cemetery grounds. They wait it out, and things go quiet. Earlier, they'd set a small bell beside one of the stone crosses. The idea was simple. Ask a question, and if something's there, invite it to ring the bell. For a long stretch, nothing. And then the bell starts answering.
I don't know. How was it? If that was you, can you please set that bell off again? Can you do it after I ask?
Oh man.
Oh.
And the timing keeps landing directly on the question. So they ask who they're talking to. The reply comes through the spirit box in fragments, but clear enough to make out a name and a date.
Wow, I actually... Dogs.
They're in the grounds.
Yeah.
They're in the fucking grounds. Get the bell.
Whether that name matches anyone buried in Brookwood is something they never confirm. But the dogs are back, closer this time, inside the walls. And then a whistle cuts through, short, sharp, the kind a person uses to call a dog to heel. Except there's no dog with them, and no one else who should be inside those grounds at this hour.
Where the fuck's that coming from? Where?
Why do they fancy me?
Okay.
By now, the night has ground them down. They decide to pack up and call it, but as they turn back toward the way they came in, that's when they see it. The iron gate they'd shut behind them hours earlier, both sides of it standing wide open.
Can you see that?
I don't know. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off.
What?
It's open. It's actually open. Look.
To their credit, they don't jump to conclusions. Earlier in the night, they'd opened that gate to film a fox and figure they never latched it properly. The wind could have done the rest. Probably. It's the version that lets a person sleep. They don't sleep. They lie in that tent until the sky turns gray and walk out before the first dog walker arrives.
Can you see? Or am I just being stupid here?
Where's the gate gone? Where is the fucking gate?
Picks this moment to explore a cemetery on the outskirts of Lima. It might be the most dangerous location he's ever filmed. Protests have turned violent, parts of the city are shut down, and to reach the graveyard, Franco has to cross a stretch of road in the middle of a riot, with explosions going off across the skyline.
Lucky enough, I was able to get a taxi. All right, so I just made it out of the taxi. This is the most dangerous part right here. This whole road, people die here all the time. One gunshot to the head and I'm out.
He slips inside on night vision, no light of any kind, trying to stay invisible. And this place isn't a flat field of headstones. It's built in tiers, with tombs stacked on top of each other like walls, going up several stories on either side. Everywhere Franco walks, the dead are above him, beside him, hemming him in. See, this graveyard is known locally for a tomb people visit for a witch believed to be buried there, and it's the first place he hears something he can't explain.
Strictly night vision right now. And I can't see too well, so I might turn on a light. But this is where I was hearing one of the creepiest things being out here was a creepy laugh.
A laugh from inside an empty cemetery, while the city burns behind him.
There's a scream. And there's nobody out here. Look at this. That's a bird. See?
He keeps moving, trying to shake it off, when something worse cuts through. Not the wind, a scream, close enough that he knows it came from somewhere inside the grounds. But Franco doesn't leave. He stops in front of a large mausoleum and knocks. Once, nothing. On the second knock, the lights inside cut out.
Knocking on the thing again. Let me dim it. The lights just turned off on this thing. Hola?
No switch he can reach, no one behind the glass. And as he continues deeper, he starts noticing what's been done to the tombs. One after another, broken into, emptied out, and one specific thing missing from nearly everyone.
Sitting, and I think they were crying. Hello? Looks like there's something else over there now. I'm not too quite sure what that is.
The skulls, taken for use in local rituals, grave robbery for occult purposes, has been documented in parts of Peru for decades, which means whoever's been inside these tombs isn't a curious teenager. They know what they're doing, and they might still be in the area. Almost on cue, a low whistling starts, and near the staircase, the camera picks up a figure standing perfectly still.
I have to be careful because I did hear what sounded like a woman talking, and there is what looks like someone standing there. At least from my perspective, it looks like someone just standing there.
Franco doesn't approach. He turns toward the exit. But before he reaches the stairs, something rolls out of the darkness and stops at his feet.
I am freaking out right now. Something or someone is messing with me here.
A ball, flat ground, from a direction with no one standing in it. And watching the footage back, viewers pointed out a shape in the upper corner of the frame that looks like a figure standing upright. And faintly, what sounds like a woman in pain somewhere off camera. Franco bolts for the stairs, misses a step, and goes down hard. He comes up limping.
Give me a second. There's a dog nearby. I don't know where he's at, but I'm gonna stay low for a second. Hold on. Update. I might have sprained my ankle just a little bit. I fell down the staircase and was so concerned about the...
Alone, in a cemetery where the skulls get stolen and the city outside is on fire. He calls it and gets out. Franco went in braced for danger and got it from every direction. This next explorer went in expecting nothing at all. He didn't even believe in any of this. YouTuber Small Plots, known to his viewers as Kevin, doesn't believe in ghosts. He's said it before, and in October 2025, he decides to settle it once and for all by spending a night inside Mount Hope, a 200-acre cemetery in Rochester, New York, with more than 350,000 people buried in it. And on the way in, he does something most people would consider unwise.
Boy, I hope I'm not gonna regret doing that. Delicious. Okay, walking up through the maintenance area now, the first thing I notice is a camera right there. So I'm just gonna like walk past it, you know? Like nothing ever happened.
See, this isn't some forgotten plot behind a church. Susan B. Anthony is buried here. So is Frederick Douglass. The cemetery dates back to the 1800s, and whole sections are so overgrown, you could walk right past a headstone and never see it. Kevin sets up camp among the graves and waits. For a while, the night cooperates. Then, as it gets darker, he picks up a sound he can't place, a dry, rattling noise, close by, like sticks being dragged across the ground. He tries to explain it away.
Yeah, see, so I've been quiet for so long, but now I have a light on and I'm talking, and little animals that are around me are like, hey, there's a guy there. They're not ghosts. Let me just clear this up right now. They're not ghosts. They're like little mice and rats.
Then a whistle cuts through, sharp and deliberate, and it lands him on the one thing he didn't expect. He's not alone out here.
Clattering sound, like tick, 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 tick. Like somebody has like a bunch of sticks in a wagon or something. I just hear like sticks, like tick, like medium sized, like wrist sized half logs.
He watches lights moving between the headstones. Slow, deliberate sweeps, back and forth over the same patches of ground. Eventually, he gets close enough to work out what they're carrying.
Between a stick and a log. You know what I'm talking about. I don't think it's anything, you know, supernatural. I don't know if you picked up on that. Somebody went like a whistle sound. So there's definitely people in the cemetery doing something right now. I can't get good footage, obviously, but I was able to take some just killer photography in the moonlight, you know, just, wow, you're really gonna love this. It's just so good.
Metal detectors in a cemetery after midnight. And as more than one viewer pointed out, people swinging a detector over graves at that hour usually aren't there for the history. They're looking for jewelry, coins, anything buried with the dead. Kevin stays put, but somewhere past the tree line, all night long, the odd gunshot goes off and he never figures out who's firing. The man who came to prove nothing happens in a graveyard packs up at first light, He doesn't say the word ghost on the way out. Kevin's night was more suspicious than supernatural. It's a cold October night in 2022, and YouTuber Grizzly Gaz is dragging his camping gear into a place most people wouldn't set foot in during the day. Gaz camps rough for a living, and for this one he brought his dog Fendi. The plan was a forgotten graveyard on the outskirts of Halifax, tucked behind the remains of a demolished church. Over 3,000 people buried here, most of them moved from other churchyards, and then, in Gaz's words, completely forgotten about. But the graveyard carries more than the dead, it carries a legend. Whether Gaz believes in it is hard to tell.
Bodies that were at different sites before being moved here. Now imagine being moved from one church to another and then forgotten about. No wonder this place is haunted. Now there's supposed to be a lady in white that haunts these woodlands. So I'm going to get my tent set up next to the vault.
But he sets up beside the old vault and lets the night close in. And Fendi is the reason things start to feel wrong. Dogs notice things before people do, and at one point, she walks to the mouth of one of the tombs, sits down, and won't move.
You can see the peace hall and stuff over there. Don't know what Fendi's doing. She's been sat there for about 10 minutes, just not moving. Now she's moving now, look. Creepy.
Just stares into the dark inside it for 10 straight minutes. Nothing Gaz can see or hear explains it. Eventually Fendi comes back, and he runs a spirit box near the graves. Two things come back that stick with him. A word that doesn't connect to anything he asked, and then a name. He doesn't find anyone named Albert on the nearby headstones.
You come and say something into this device.
Lower.
Lower? What do you mean lower? Lower what? Lower in the ground?
Later, he swings the camera into the ruined church on low light. The walls are still standing, but the roof is long gone, open to the sky, with headstones and rubble spilling across what used to be the floor. He's expecting to see nothing. Watch the doorway as the camera passes. Something standing in that frame doesn't read as stone.
I don't think the GoPro's right good in low light, is it? Help. Is someone in there? Hello? It's just a shadow.
He catches it, but doesn't go closer. Was it a person, a shadow, something left by whoever demolished the church? He doesn't know. But around midnight, while he's sitting by the fire, someone actually walks up on his camp. A real person, moving through a graveyard at an hour when no one should be there. Gaz does the only sensible thing a man alone in a cemetery can do. Whoever it was moves on without a word, and it's a detail that sticks, because out of everything that happened that night, the figure in the church, the spirit box, Fendi locking onto the tomb, the one thing that actually made him tense was a living person walking up on him in the dark.
Hello?
Hiya.
Alright.
Yeah, it's just where my mate's buried a dog, but we're just coming here.
Alright, don't worry about it. I've got a dog here, that's all.
Gaz got away with a quiet night and a good dog. YouTuber Claude A. Watkis and his crew aren't exactly the quiet type. In August 2023, they show up at one of the oldest cemeteries in the Caribbean and go in loud, cracking jokes, talking over each other, doing everything they can to cover the nerves. Port Royal is old sailor ground in Jamaica, but it's more than that. This place was once called the wickedest city on earth, a pirate haven that sank into the Caribbean during a massive earthquake in 1692. Half the original city is still underwater. The graves here hold what's left of the sailors, merchants, and pirates from that era, and the group leans hard on a piece of local folklore the entire night. Duppy, Jamaican patois for a ghost.
Now we're back at it again. Alright everybody, so we could never carry linen and do carry rice water here, see me? So no,
So linen have to do rice water?
No, cause linen make it to we have confidence right now.
Yeah.
So we have to still have confidence with a little piece of fear. You know, as Jamaican history go, them talk about if you wash your face with rice water, or a myth, Jamaican myth. If you wash your face with rice water, then you can see duppy, or you will see duppy, so them say.
The idea being that rice water makes the dead invisible to you. Whether any of them actually did it is another question, but this cemetery gives you something most burial grounds don't. See, the graves here don't all stay sealed. The heat, the humidity, the salt air coming off the water, it all eats into the stone, and over the decades some of the tombs have cracked wide open. You can look right down into them, and one of them isn't empty. The group knows this going in. They've heard from locals that human remains are still visible inside one of the broken graves, and they go looking for it on purpose, and they find it.
Born in January 1931, died 1997. Okay, as you can see, this one is, it cracked open slightly and stuff. So here it is once more, and there is the skull right there. So yeah, creepy, right? Here's
a human skull sitting inside a split grave, lit up by a phone camera in a place they've chosen to spend the night. For a second, the jokes stop, the group goes quiet, and then someone cracks another one, and they move on, walking deeper into the cemetery like they didn't just stare into a grave with a body still in it. They set up camp among the headstones, and not one of them leaves. But every person watching that footage is thinking the same thing. Those bones belong to someone, and whoever it was didn't agree to be found like this. A skull in an open grave is one thing. Franco again. He saved this location because it's the one that genuinely scares him. A historic New Orleans cemetery, one of the oldest in the city, with above-ground tombs stacked in rows like stone apartment buildings. See, the reason they bury above ground here isn't tradition, it's geography. New Orleans sits below sea level, and coffins buried in the earth have a habit of floating back up during floods. So the dead go into stone vaults instead, sealed shut, stacked on top of each other, stunning in the sunlight. But there's a catch, and he says it out loud before he even steps through the gates. The last time he came here...
So today I'm exploring my most favorite graveyard that I have ever seen, pretty much. But what's dangerous about this graveyard is that this graveyard actually has people living in it. Now, they try to scare people out, and sometimes it's also a known place for a lot of...
The last time he came here, one of them spotted him and chased him out, ran him right off the property. So he's come back at night to finish it, on night vision, staying quiet, trying to move through the tombs without being noticed. For a while it works. Then from inside one of the mausoleums, a sound he wasn't ready for.
Terrifying. Hello? Steve-O.
Go ahead.
I legit heard the most terrifying thing just now.
What'd you hear?
I was inside one of the mausoleums here, and from the window on the outside I heard what sounded like children laughing.
Children laughing from inside a sealed tomb in the middle of the night. Franco doesn't run. He makes his way to an old military tomb near the center of the grounds, Army of Northern Virginia carved into the stone, and sets up the spirit box. He asks if anyone's there.
Anybody here?
What? Hey, yeah, I see you now, Major.
He's standing at a soldier's grave, and something addresses him by rank. And here's a detail viewers caught that Franco didn't seem to notice. Watch the auto-generated captions during that stretch. A line appears on screen that he never says out loud.
Hello? Anybody here?
What? Hey, yeah, I see you now, Major. Wait a minute.
Oh my God. I'm literally in front of a military thing. And I just got somebody that said, hey, I see you now, Major. Wait a minute. They called me Major. Look, if you look right up here, Army of Northern Virginia. I'm right here. Hello?
Whether the captions picked up a voice the microphone barely registered, or YouTube misread the ambient noise, is impossible to say, but it's there. Not long after, the night vision picks up movement between the tombs. Not an animal, not a shadow, something upright.
Steven. Steven, you copy?
Yeah, I copy.
I got movement.
What kind of movement?
It's a person, but they don't know I'm here, so we're good. But I can see them on the night vision. It's someone dressed up. I don't know if they have like a black sweater. Hold on. I don't know if they have a black sweater. They're just dressed up in black. West from the car's position, like if you...
A figure dressed entirely in black, moving through the cemetery in the middle of the night. And before Franco has time to figure out who it is, he finds something wedged between the tombs that changes the feel of the entire night. A notice, hand-lettered, dated 1804, left out among the graves like a public warning.
For some reason I thought I was being watched. But look at what I found here. Look at this. Oh, what does that say? Holy crap, hold on, let me take out my other camera. I don't want to touch anything. Strange aversions. Public notice. Charted 1804. Wander into the darkness. Something dreadful, wicked. It has come to dwell among us.
He doesn't read the rest out loud. He doesn't want to. And this is where the living come back for him. The man from before, the one who chased him out last time, walks straight out in front of the truck and stands there in the headlights, staring.
I'll take you guys to is right inside here. But the problem is that there's somebody. Oh shit, you see, look, he's coming back again. Look. He's right over there. You see? Look at this. You see the guy? He's walking right in front of the car. Look at him. Hey, bud, is it okay if I explore around here? Is it alright if I explore around here? Yeah, I don't mean to bother you. Alright, sorry to bug you, man.
Franco tries to be polite, but the man doesn't want a conversation. He wants Franco gone.
Oh, there. Look.
Jacket off, squaring up, in a cemetery Franco already knows people sleep in. This isn't a ghost. This is a man who considers these grounds his territory. Franco drives to another section to put distance between them. And that's when the buses arrive. 2 of them, out of nowhere. 50 people start filing into the cemetery around him in the dark.
the hell did I get myself into? Look how many people they are. I'm being watched like a hawk. So that had to have been one of the most random encounters I've ever had.
It turns out to be a ghost tour, which is almost